Good day, everyone. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us as we go over IAMS marketing options for life insurance and annuity prospects. We've got leads, preset appointments, seminars, and so much more. My name is Tim Watts. I'm one of the annuity sales directors over here at IAMS. Before we jump into these great strategies, I have some important information that I wanted to share about who we are over here at IAMS and a quick highlight about why our agents love working with us and our team. Best-in-class customer service is our commitment, and you can always reach a live person during our business hours at 800-255-5055. We strive to answer your phone calls with an IAMS employee within 2 rings or less, and delivering that great customer service with that personal call is how we kick that off. We'll also have a few polls during the webinar today, and if you do have any questions, definitely pop those in there, and Curtis Hawks and I will get to those at the end. We definitely want to have an interactive webinar today, and fielding those questions and taking those polls is a great way to do that. Our new producer builders are for those of you who are new to us at IAMS. These bonuses are available based on your production level in the first 180 days of contracting with us. We have great levels that you can qualify at, and as you can see inside each levels are some great options for you. We have business building tools, personal perks, and even cash rewards. If you would like to know where you stand towards your new producer builder, or if you'd like to have a conversation about how to achieve that next level, please give us a call and talk to one of those sales directors, and we can help you out with that. Moving on to our Business Builders program, we're going to go over our Referred Producer program. See a couple advisors on with us today that have already taken advantage of this program. Our business on the wholesale side of the industry is similar to yours in the field, and that one of our best leads we could ever get is a referral from one of our very valued agents. This is why we want to make it worth your while to refer a producer to us. When you do, we send you a $50 thank you check right off the bat. Now, where the real money comes in is as your referral writes business, you'll receive an override on that business. Our ownership team, Steve, Charles, and Curtis, sign checks for thousands of dollars every quarter. With that being said, if you can think of anyone that could benefit from doing business with our team, please type their information into that questions box or send me an email at timw@IAMSinc with their information, and I will be reaching out to them as soon as possible. Below that is our marketing reimbursement program. This is one of the most popular programs that we offer. For every $100,000 in fixed index annuity premium, you get $100 in your marketing reimbursement account. Why this is so popular and lucrative for advisors is we truly do consider this to be your money. We don't cap your account, tell you where to spend the funds, or when you have to cash that in. It's truly your marketing dollars to use to build your business. If you'd like to know how much is in your marketing reimbursement account or have a conversation about how to utilize it, give our sales directors a call. We can help you out with that as well. Back office support. This is another way that we add value to your business. This is a core of IAMS and how Charles Hearing founded us 36 years ago. We want to help the independent advisor work smarter, not harder. We're going to do that with great business building tools and resources. Of course, advanced case design assistance, life and annuity quotes is part of that, and we make a commitment to get those back to you in 24 hours. And to be honest with you, most of the time we're going to get that back to you in a couple of hours unless you've got a more complicated case for us to look at. Submissions to commission support is handled by our new business teams. We've got Amber heading up the annuity side and Michelle on the life side. They have fantastic teams who work tirelessly to help you get commissioned quicker. We do that by scrubbing your applications, submitting them on your behalf, and doing the administrative tracking so we can get you the updates on the cases to keep you in front of those clients. We do this to ensure you get commissioned as quickly as possible, and this is a service that we provide to our valued producers and how we help you grow your business. Next, Firelight eApps. This is a single sign-on at IAMSinc.com. Technology is where the industry is going, and Firelight is a top-notch site streamlining the application process. Most of our carriers are on the eApp platform, so you can go onto one site and submit business. It is a COVID-friendly and some carriers are going, it is COVID friendly, and some carriers are going to e-app only for some of their products lines, or will offer you extra commissions for utilizing that e-app platform. Make sure you ask your sales director if you can earn some more commissions by utilizing Firelight. This also accelerates the application process substantially. The e-app platforms help you submit business in good order the first time. This also reduces the processing time of your business and gets you paid quicker. As I mentioned previously, this is a single sign-on at IAMSinc.com, as we've integrated our business with Firelight so you can have the most effective and efficient way to submit business to the carriers. We do have a full in-house creative team that can help you and your practice, and a lot of the items and ways that we can help are turnkey and available for you. We can simply impose your contact information and your business logos onto the already created information. Speaking of logos, agency solutions is something that we are very good at, and if you haven't created a full customized brand for you and your agency, we would love to help out. This is going to assist you with the name recognition, which grows your natural market organically. We can help you out with logos designed and impose those on business cards, brochures, stationaries, and more. Lastly, everyone is looking for a bigger digital marketing presence. We can help you out with your website, social media marketing, as well as email marketing. The internet and social media sites are where the overwhelming majority of prospects go for information. Making sure that you are accessible and represented in those marketing lanes is beneficial to growing your business. Give myself or one of our other sales directors a call when this webinar concludes. Talk to us about how our IAMS creative team can help your agency take that next step. Our website is a great tool for our producers to use, and another reason to work with us over here at IAMS. Once you're contracted, you have full access to everything that you see on this slide and so much more. If you haven't registered yet for the website, it's very simple to do. It takes about 15 minutes in total to get you in there, get all that through there. So when we're done with this call, if you'd like to go ahead and create an account, we would love to walk you through there and help you out with all of those tools and resources. A lot of great tools are there. We've got illustration tools, online forms, product grids, product news, and as well as so much more. We founded IAMS Wealth Management 5 years ago now. What we've done is grow this division of IAMS very organically. We do this by helping our advisors pass their Series 65. Once we have you registered, we will be able to bring great value to your practice with an incredibly competitive fee structure for both you and your clientele. We have great technology and a great investment platform. This has been a major growth sector for our business, and assets under management could be a growth sector for you and a way for you to grab more wallet share for your clients. All right, I've got our first poll question going on here, so go ahead and hop on and take a look at this. We are hosting our first Annuity and Life Insurance Academy. This is going to be April 26th to 28th. We'll be partnered with Athene on this one, so it'll be at their home office in Des Moines, Iowa, again, April 26th to 28th. We've got room for about 40 folks to join us here. We do cover all of your expenses, bring in some phenomenal keynote speakers, as well as go over those top annuity and life insurance marketing strategies. Many of them you'll hear about today, as well as those top products out there as well. Going to go ahead and close that poll out here in just another 15 or 20 seconds, but would love to have as many top producing agents out at this great event here coming up soon. Next is our Seaside Sanctuary. So the qualification period opened up for this at the beginning of the year. We're going to be headed out there April 14th through the 18th in 2024. 4.5 million points to qualify. That's on about a $3 million run yearly, and we always have a great time out at these events. Another great opportunity to network with other top producing agents around, as well as we do have some folks that come out, and it's beneficial from an educational standpoint, but more a rewards and opportunity to rest up and relax after a hard year's work. We do put out a ton of information on Facebook and LinkedIn. So if you haven't already, go ahead and follow us and like us there so you get that information sent to you immediately. All right, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Curtis Hawks. He's our Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer, and we'll be going over some of these fantastic marketing strategies for your life and annuity prospects.
Well, thanks, Tim. I appreciate that. Let me get this teed up here. Here we go. Let me make sure everybody can see my screen. Looks like they can. Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody taking the time to take some time out of their day and be on the call with us today. And what we wanted to do is we have had and seen just an absolutely amazing start this year for a lot of the reps out there. And one key area that we're seeing significant growth in is in the digital space. And it kind of makes sense, right? We've seen that going back to when COVID first hit, is advisors looking more and more toward what options are available in the digital space. And I think the interesting thing as we keep plodding forward is that we're going to continue to see innovation in that space, and we're going to continue to see new options and new ways and best practices for incorporating digital advertising and marketing into your practice. And all of that goes back to, I think, really ultimately creating balance in your business. We talk to a lot of advisors out there, and I think most reps, what they want in their business is balance. They want balanced growth. They want a balanced, consistent flow of prospects coming into the top of their sales funnel. And so when I look at that, what I found is there's really three components of balance. And the first of those is to set a defined goal. And we're in the first quarter. I imagine many of you, as you go into a year, are thinking about what you want the year to look like. The second piece of that is putting together a plan that you think will accomplish that goal. Some of you maybe have done that already. Maybe some of you that are on this call today, that's part of what you're looking to try and do, is see what are the options that are out there and what do I think maybe potentially makes sense. And then the third component of balance is the ability to modify that plan. And I think this is key. Even right now we're seeing a lot of stuff going on in the banking space. And so we've got agents running advertising and marketing all day. I was talking to a rep yesterday who has a workshop this evening, actually, and has about, I think, 70, 80 people registered. But in any case, that was one of the things that we were talking about yesterday, is he wanted to get a couple slides into a seminar presentation to touch on that topic. And so we know over the course of a year, there are going to be areas of opportunity that we can do things with. We also know there's going to be challenges as we go as well. And so I think that's a critically important component, is having the ability to modify that plan and having the right team of people around you to help with that. And so let's dive into some of the resources and things that we're seeing work and that you have access to. First off, I wanted to briefly talk about IAMS Creative. And so even, I guess in my example from yesterday, we sent kind of what that agent was thinking of over to Creative, and they were able to draft up a few slides and get it over to them. But your brand, how you look, whether it's brick and mortar or whether it's digitally, is critically important. And the digital version of that is even more important now than it's ever been, especially if you're thinking about digital marketing and incorporating that into your business. And the reason for that is, the number one source of information across every demographic is the internet. People research everything. And even an advisor that they're meeting with, they're going to look you up online. And here's the challenge that you have is, if somebody meets with you and they go and look you up online and they can't really find information on you, or they don't like what they see, or they feel like things are out of date, they're not going to call you back and tell you that. They're just not going to schedule another appointment. And so as you can see on the screen there, we've got a wealth of resources available. We've got a very seasoned team at your disposal. And I think one of the key things there as well is they only focus on the financial services space. Digital marketing, your brand, all those things are different in the financial services space than if you had a restaurant or a retail store or some other service-based business. The best practices that work in those industries don't necessarily translate over to the financial services space. And so I think it's, when you're looking at your digital brand and what you want things to look like, I do feel like it's critically important that you're working with a team that specifically focuses on that, and that is what you get with IAMS. So first topic for today is workshops. So just add a couple of key points here. Workshops, seminars, we've seen those for years, for decades really, be very, very effective. Obviously, at the beginning of COVID, we saw those virtually stop and were non-existent. But as we've continued to plod back to our new normal, certainly we've seen those grow dramatically over the last couple of years, and we have more and more advisors interested in it. We also have more and more consumers that we're seeing that are engaging with these types of events, whether it's in a live setting or whether it's a webinar. But I think some of the key selling points on it is it really gives you the ability to have a first appointment without having a first appointment. I think one of the big challenges in a first appointment with somebody that doesn't know you is that you've got to build trust, rapport. Somebody, if they're going to work with you, they've got to like you, they've got to trust you, they've got to feel like you're knowledgeable on the areas that they have concern on. And a workshop event is really a very effective way to show all of that before you actually sit down with that person for the first time. And so in regard to topics, we've got a variety of things available, whether it's Social Security, annuity topics, life insurance topics, tax planning, really runs the gamut on what we have available. In addition to that, we also have a repository of compliant seminar presentations that are at your disposal. So a variety of different topics that we can use. The other thing I would mention to you, and this kind of goes back to the IAMS Creative slide that we were just on, but it is very common for somebody to take one of our slide presentations, and if you want to do some customization to it, certainly our team is available to help you and work with you on that. So wanted to spotlight a few different platforms. So first off, we have White Glove. They're probably a name many of you have, whether you're completely familiar with them or not, have probably seen some level of marketing with them. They're a firm that we've worked with for a number of years, and you'll feel that they do a good job. They, as far as topics offered, you can take a look at Social Security, taxes and retirement. They also have an estate planning module. It is all digitally based, primarily Facebook is what they utilize for their advertising. And kind of their claim to fame is everything's done for you. And so they do, I think, a very effective job of you being able to provide the date, location, venue, et cetera, and then they take over from there and make sure that the number of people that you want to come to the event are there. Another option that we have is our Social Security seminar program. You see a picture of a gentleman up there. His name's Dave Pemper. And, when we originally envisioned this, and this is years ago when we first developed this system, we know advisors are on a spectrum. Some people are currently actively doing seminars right now. Some advisors have tried it here and there. Some of them have never done it before, and they're looking to get into it. And so what we really wanted to develop was a comprehensive system to where if you're, whether you're doing seminars or you've never even done one, we've got a system that can address that. Social Security, I think, is one of the more popular topics when it comes to seminar marketing. And I think a core reason for that is everybody's going to have to file, right? So you've got a significant prospect base that you can market to. And you have people that are coming to this that have a financial decision. They've got to make a decision. You can't unravel how you file once you do it. And so they're concerned about that. And so it's a great opening to educate these individuals and also open the conversation up into what are your other assets that you have, because certainly those play a factor in whether or not your Social Security income is taxable or not. And so with our Social Security platform, not only do we run the advertising for it and provide the slide presentation, we provide Social Security timing software as well, but you also get coaching. Dave's done, I think, coming up on 550 public seminars over the course of his career. So you get a seasoned expert that can talk through best practices. And I think that's important. I think we all know that what you say, how you phrase it, all those types of things certainly have an impact on the success or failure of any type of event that you do. And we've got a really low price point on it. I mean, you can run a campaign for just over $2,700 and fill a room. In addition to that, and we're really excited about this, we just launched Safe Money events at the beginning of the year. This is a new system that we have actually had in development for almost a year and a half. And, we looked out in the marketplace and we wanted to continue to expand our seminar offerings. And so what we, in effect, tried to do is take a look at, what are the things that we think are working well? What are the things that we think are deficiencies with some of the vendors and platforms that are out there? And how do we make this better? And how do we also strike the right balance? How do we strike the right balance between quality and the volume of people that are coming in the room? And I think we've really hit the nail on the head with this. And so this really is a done-for-you system. There's multiple topics that you can pick, whether it's Social Security, taxes and retirement, which our taxes and retirement module, whether we're talking Safe Money events or White Glove as an example, you can interchangeably, if you want to do more of an annuity presentation, you can do that. If you're talking a lot about macro tax planning and utilizing cash value life insurance, we have slide presentations for that you can use for that module as well. And then in addition, we also have a retirement income planning module with Safe Money events. And this is, more of your traditional annuity seminar, along with the presentation, the advertising, everything. And really what it's talking about is income and retirement. You save for retirement, you accumulated wealth. Is that money going to last? Or you're in retirement, you're drawing down, is that money going to last? So it's all about, is there an income gap? And so we run a lot of these campaigns. I mentioned one that we have tonight. Like I said, we've got 70, 80 registrants on it. And, the nice thing about it is, too, is we've got multiple price points on that system. So it's $2,500, $3,000, or $3,500, all in depending on the volume of people that you want to have registered. And, even with that platform and our Social Security platform, I mean, we're seeing numbers that are super competitive. And if you talk to one of the sales directors, they can kind of give you a breakdown of, even the last month, 60 days, 90 days, you name it, of what we're seeing out there. But we're seeing ranges from, 60, 70 registrants to, we've had a couple of campaigns that have been in the 150s. So a lot of success with that. And, workshops they're definitely back. So if it's something that you have interest in, definitely reach out, give us a call, whether you want to do a live event or webinar, or whether it's educational dinner. We can accommodate both of those options. So next up, digital lead platforms. So we talked about a group setting. Let's talk about one-on-one. We all know that all leads are not equal. And with that being said, I mean, there's a saying that we've probably all heard, a lead is a lead is a lead. It's what you do with it, right? I think there's some truth to both of those. But what I would say is that we have a vested interest. We don't make any money unless you guys make money. And so we've got a vested interest in making sure that if we're going to talk about different marketing options, we want to make sure that you're in the best position to have success, whether it is through how the lead is generated or whether it's, webinars and educational trainings that we do. Tim mentioned our Life and Annuity Academy. Even in those academies, we talk through converting digital leads. We talk through appointment best practices. We talk through story selling and sales, all those types of things. That education is critically important to us. But I say all that to get to the point of, we want you to be in the best possible position to have success, because in order for us to be successful, you guys have to be successful. And so we are in the business of helping you accomplish your objectives, goals, et cetera, and grow your business. So I'm going to put a few different options up here. So, and that's the other thing too, is we're highlighting a couple of different options. Many of you probably aren't aware, we have over 25 unique marketing systems and programs available for our advisors. I'm going to talk a little bit about our marketing analysis process later in the presentation. But we've got a pretty systematic way that we go through and figure out what might be the best option for you. So generally speaking, when you talk about lead generation, those prospects, when you talk about entry point, the advertising is going to fall in one of two buckets. and that is product driven or concept driven. And here's what I mean by that. So a product driven bucket is a consumer who is researching or has questions on a specific product. Could be life insurance, could be annuities, right? And so they're reaching out and they want to talk to somebody and they're already looking at a product. Concept driven, on the other hand, is somebody that doesn't necessarily have a sense of what the product solution is. They have a need, a concern, a question. Maybe that's, am I paying more in taxes than I should? Maybe it's, am I going to have enough money to retire? When can I retire? And so when I talk about that, these options here are a mix of those two things. And I commonly get asked the question, well, which one's better? Well, I see advisors have success in both models. It really depends on what you want your entry point to be, and then we can customize what the right solution is for you. You know your business better than we do, and so that's why we make sure that we do have a very robust, full portfolio of options, because everybody's different. Every advisor is at different stages of their career. They have different target markets. They're in different areas of the country, but our goal is to meet you where you're at and help you to get to where you want to be. So PlansWell is a system that we have been seeing good success with. With this platform, this is a concept-driven platform. So the individuals, the consumers that are engaging with this system have questions about income and retirement. And so they're on and engaging with this platform because they want to know how much income they're going to have when they retire. And so before that individual even gets to you for you to follow up, they're going through and they're filling out a 40-question survey on their goals, their assets, all those types of things. That then kicks over to you to follow up with the individual. And what the individual is looking for is an income plan. One of the neat things about PlansWell is they do provide in the system a very simple, straightforward income planning software that you can utilize. If you don't want to use that, we do have Retirement Analyzer available. And also, I would mention as well, we'll pay for a Retirement Analyzer for you if you're contracted and doing business with us. And if you've got questions on that, just reach out, talk to a sales director over here. But with PlansWell, it's all oriented around how much income am I going to have in retirement. And so I found it's a really good entry point. It's also kind of a hybrid system. What I mean by that is they're typically generally targeting people 40 to 65. So you will get a spectrum of individuals that come in off of that. So we see overfunded IUL sales off of this system. We see annuity rollovers off of this system. And it's got a relatively low price point with it. They've got basically 3 tiers based off of the volume of households that you want to get. In addition to that, we do have an agreement with them. So if you're contracted with IAMS and you want to get set up with that system, you'll actually in your first 90 days get an additional 15 households that you can work. So 15 additional leads at no cost. Juicebox, which I know is a silly name, but this is another concept-driven system. And this system is oriented around macro tax planning. And really the narrative that is going out to the consumer is all around, do you understand how your money is taxed? Are you aware of the sources of income that you're going to retire and live off of? Are you aware of how they are taxed? And did you know that you don't purely have to accumulate wealth on a tax-deferred basis? There are tax-free options that are available that you can utilize. If you want to learn more about that and learn if you qualify for those types of systems, respond today. And so the individual goes through an investor profile, submits all that information that kicks over to you. Now, what we primarily see off of Juicebox is we see a lot of overfunded IUL sales. That's kind of their claim to fame. Now, with that being said, they target individuals age 40 to 60. And so we also have seen, if you're in the AUM space, Tim talked about IAMS Wealth, but we see opportunity there from an investment standpoint and non-qualified brokerage accounts. And then certainly we see some annuity sales on there as well. With this system, one of the things that I think is very neat about it is they have a significant amount of automation built into their platform. And so what I mean by that is when somebody does a submittal, they're immediately getting a text message from you. And the neat thing about that is it looks like it's coming from you, but it's all within the CRM system that you get access to by doing the program. And so they're getting emails, texts, et cetera, reaching out to them about when they want to meet. The other thing about Juicebox is, a lot of, and I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I think, people, firms, companies need to decide, what do we want to excel at and what are we going to be good at. And so you have a number of lead vendors where they just generate the lead or the prospect. And then you've got some platforms that are out there where it's not just the lead gen, but also the education and the training on the sales process. And I do think that's an area where Juicebox excels. They've invested a significant amount of time, energy, and resources into developing a sales process for following up with their leads. In fact, they have you go through that before you start receiving them. But they also, on an ongoing basis, one thing that I like is that they do weekly training calls, and they'll get advisors on a Zoom or a GoToWebinar and talk through wins, losses for the week, what worked, what didn't work, etc. Advisor RPM, Financialize, both of these are product-driven systems, and so both of these platforms are oriented around annuities. And so with Advisor RPM, this is a subscription-based system, and so essentially what you can do is specify a territory and say, I want X number of prospects on a monthly basis, and then they'll run ad campaigns to generate that. Primarily, it's going to be on Google Network. And here's why I make this point, right? We hear a lot about social media, and social media is an amazing platform. We do a lot of advertising and marketing around that, but here's what I would say, and maybe think about yourself here for a moment as I go through this. Facebook, as an example, has a ton of users, but think about yourself. How many of you are on Facebook every hour on the day, or once a day, or once a week, or once a month, or you've got an account you never got on there, right? Consumers are the same way. And so if you're purely advertising on social media, you are missing a segment of the audience base that's out there that's not regularly on social media to be able to see the ads and engage with you. And so I think that's one of the neat things about Advisor RPM and Financialize, for that matter, is they run Google Network. Well, everybody uses the internet every single day. And so you do get into a new market that you maybe are not consistently in front of. And it also, I think, goes back to the importance of, with your marketing plan and what you're doing, the importance of a multi-vertical approach. We talk a lot about this in our marketing analysis process, but at the end of the day, in order for you to have the highest level of consistency with your prospect flow, your target market needs to see you no matter where they go. So whether it's on social platforms, whether it's the internet, even things like print marketing and print advertising. I think even though we're primarily focused on digital lead gen platforms today, a lot of people engage with print marketing. They hold on to it. They respond to it. And so you've got to make sure that you're essentially blanketing your target market in whatever capacity they're going to engage with you. Financialize, again, they are a digital annuity lead gen platform, and they're unique. They've got a couple of different things that they do. So they do offer the traditional, pick a territory, specify how many prospects that you want to get on a monthly basis, and then they fill that order. They also have a additional program, which I would, if you're in the annuity space and you're looking to get in front of more prospects, which I think everybody on this call is looking to get in front of more prospects, you need to take advantage of their auction platform. And so how this system works is they're generating prospects for everybody that's got a territory. Well, when you talk about digital advertising, you can't really just start and stop your ad campaigns. You basically got to keep them running when you've got a volume of people that you're filling orders for. So what that inevitably means is that they generate overflow on a monthly basis. And so instead of just eating that cost and not doing anything with it, what they created was their auction platform, where they take all those leads and they kick it over to the auction platform, and then you get notified, and you can set it up in a couple of ways. You can just go on their site and look at it, or you can get notified. I mean, I recommend getting them emailed over to you, and it'll have all the information on the prospect except for their contact information. And then at that point in time, you can decide if you want to buy it or not. depending on the type of lead, they'll do an auction to where you can literally just, say, I'm willing to pay this, and then if somebody comes back as higher, but you can decide what you want for your price point. The other thing about Advisor RPM and Financialize that I think is unique is on their territory-based systems, somebody's calling out to the prospect after they do a submittal. So it's not just somebody that submitted their information and then you're the first one to talk to them. They're reaching out, talking to the person, verifying their information, verifying what it was that prompted them to engage, and then that goes over to you. So if you've got questions on that, if you want to know if territories are available with any of these platforms, reach out, talk to a sales director. Over here, you can see our number, 800-255-5055. Preset appointments. So we have seen these, the growth has been almost vertical in popularity. Preset appointments are not necessarily a new thing, but we didn't see as high of a volume of them pre-COVID. And then obviously as it got tougher to meet with people, we saw a lot more growth in this area. And so I think we've done a very effective job of developing our portfolio of options for preset appointments. And I talk to a lot of advisors, and one of the things that I'll commonly hear is when I meet with somebody, I'm good. I help them. I do an amazing job in the appointment process, but I either don't have as much time as I need to work leads and try and set the appointments, or I don't feel like I'm that good at setting the appointment. But once I'm in front of them, I do amazing. Preset appointments are a great way to address those issues. And we've got a variety of options in regard to people that you want to get in front of. So we've got a few different platforms available here. And so generally speaking, and again, I would tell everybody, I know we're kind of giving you a high-level overview of how all these things work. And so I would encourage you to talk to Tim, talk to one of the other sales directors here if you've got specific questions on this, and we can do a deeper dive with you to make sure if these things are a fit or not. But generally speaking, we've got 4 markets that you can get in front of. That is going to be K through 12 educators, individuals that work at colleges and universities, state and municipal employees, and then federal employees. Now, within that market, and actually, one interesting thing that I would tell you in these markets is what you tend to see are individuals, like let's take the educator space. You deal with individuals that are highly intelligent individuals, but they're just not necessarily financially sophisticated, and they're really good savers. When you look at there's a survey done a couple of years ago, and I think this surprises a lot of people. But if you look at professions out there, and you look at professions that have the highest percentage of households that are $1 million of net worth or more, most people would think CEOs, executives, etc. I think they're very surprised to learn that if you look at the top 3, it goes engineers, accountants, educators. And you think, well, hold on, they don't make them. We hear this all the time. They don't make a lot of money. They're very good savers. And so there's a lot of opportunity in these markets. So as far as the entry point, what is the reason for the meeting? You've got a couple of different options. If we're one, we have kind of a traditional pension review. And so with this, the marketing, the advertising is all oriented around, hey, are you currently contributing into your employer-sponsored plan? Do you know how much income that's going to generate for you when you retire? If you're not sure what the answer to that is, or you have questions on how that calculation works, respond today to schedule a complimentary consultation. Very straightforward concept of it. Now, of these 3, Sterling actually allows you to have some additional options on entry points. So they also have a taxes advertisement that you can utilize. And so the general thrust of that is, are you currently saving in your employer-sponsored plan? Were you aware that 100% of the funds in there are taxable when you go to retire? Were you aware that there are ways to accumulate retirement assets on a tax-advantaged basis? If you'd like to learn more about that and how that works, respond today. So, And in addition to that, they have a Social Security campaign that you can run as well. With these programs, they have a very low price point, and so it's a great way to get in front of a lot of people that are lined up on your calendar. We also have a comp split option as well, and so I've seen this grow in popularity here over the last couple of years. But the way we structure that is 75-25. So advisor gets 75% of the comp. We take 25% to cover the cost of the program, but we also have that available as well. So if you've got questions on these, reach out, talk to Tim or sales director over here, and they can work through with you on what might be the best option for your business. Social media marketing. So as we've talked about, social media has grown significantly. And that's the interesting thing too, is social media wasn't necessarily a thing, 16, 17 years ago. And then you think about how many facets, how many platforms, how many generations incorporate with this. And you've got a significant number of people where they don't even necessarily go to news websites to get news. They go on social media to get it. In fact, there was a kind of a big hoopla here a few months ago between Facebook and news organizations because Congress is talking about requiring Facebook to pay to have news articles on their site, and Facebook's contention was, we don't ask anybody to put their news articles on our site. They just do because they know we've got a huge audience and following, and so ultimately what ended up coming out from that is that they're not going to have to pay. But my point is, I know there's a lot of advisors out there that are all unique, different, etc. Some of you have a very robust social media presence. You're actively marketing, engaging on it, all of those types of things. I know there are some out there who don't even have a social media profile. Here's what I would tell you. Regardless of how you want to generate prospects, in this day and age, you have to have continuity with your brand. And you've got to have your brand out there in all the verticals that your target market are going to engage in. That creates a more cohesive marketing plan. It creates a more cohesive system. It creates more continuity with your brand across those platforms. And ultimately, the net effect of that for you is you have a more consistent flow of qualified prospects coming in from the various ways that you're generating prospects. And so a lot of work we do is simply an advisor even that doesn't even necessarily want to market on social media is just making sure that their brand looks good and there's continuity across all the platforms, and then setting you up on a content flow, because that's the other thing. Let's say that you have a social profile, somebody goes on there and hasn't had a post on it in 6 years. They're questioning whether you're even in business anymore. And so there's got to be activity on the page. Not everybody necessarily wants to spend time every day or every week doing social posts. You don't have to. We integrate with a couple of different platforms, Financial Media Exchange and SnappyCrack, which I know kind of have a little bit of a theme here with kind of silly names, but they do a really good job. You literally can link your social accounts to SnappyCrack, and as an example, and it automatically syndicates content out there. You don't have to touch it. You could set a whole year's worth of posts up, and it will automate that out. And here's what I would also tell you as well. Let's say that you don't necessarily even want to mess with that. You don't have to. You can set up an account with them. You can work with our creative team, and they'll go ahead and schedule and set up everything for you, and then it's just going. The only thing you have to do is when a consumer engages back with you and wants to know more about something, that's where you tag in. IAMS Accelerate, we're really excited about this. This is something we launched in COVID, and we've just seen some really phenomenal results with it. I think we all know that there is opportunity on social media, just as I just talked about, to generate prospects. But, when you think about your marketing, there's kind of two things you can invest. You can invest time or money, or some combination of the two. So take LinkedIn as an example. It is an amazing platform if you want to target business owners or people that have a specific profession, maybe doctors or dentists or whatever it might be. And you can either physically, manually go in there and work your connections and post content, all those kind of things, or you could automate the process. And that's really what we set out to develop with the Accelerate program. Is we knew advisors were aware that LinkedIn was an opportunity, but they didn't necessarily have the time every single day to work the system the way they needed to. And so this system automates out connection requests to LinkedIn prospects. We can set it however you want. So within a geographic range, with job titles, a variety of different things. And then it's just running 24/7 in the background. Once somebody gets connected with you, then we start an automated content feed. Some of you have maybe seen some of this before. The idea of this is not a unique or novel idea, but what I would tell you is that oftentimes success in marketing is much more closely tied to implementation than it is creativity. And so for those of you that have maybe seen this before, probably what your user experience has been is you accept a connection request, and then immediately there's a whole ad and everything coming over to you, and you're like, I'm not going to mess with it. People want to connect on a one-on-one basis on LinkedIn, and so we specifically had that in mind when we developed this platform. So if you were to look at our content flow, your impression would be it's unremarkable. That's by design. We designed it to look like you took a couple of minutes and sent somebody a message. We also designed it to look like it's a person doing this. So even once somebody accepts a connection request from you, they don't instantaneously get a message. They get a message the next day. Hey, thanks for connecting with me. If I can ever be of service, certainly feel free to reach out. And then we build on that. We don't even actually talk to them about maybe trying to schedule a call or a meeting with you until the 6-week mark, because we want them to try and start doing some research on you, start developing a little bit of a relationship. And the nice thing about this, as I mentioned, is it's running 24/7. So you don't have to do anything until you have somebody that responds back. At that point in time, you tag in. So if you've got questions on that, give us a call. We're happy to chat with you about it. Plus, I mean, all of these options have a really low price point. The Accelerate platform is $100 a month, and you can run up to 3 campaigns for that price point. IAMS marketing packages. So those of you that have been working with us for a little bit know that we are constantly trying to get marketing packages out to our advisors, and it's all custom content. And what you'll find is in any of these packages, there's kind of 3 things that are always in there, which are prospecting and marketing pieces, whether it's social posts that are already pre-formatted if you want to use them, or email or direct mail templates, agent materials for education on the concept or idea, and then consumer-facing pieces that we include. So many of you maybe have seen our 1040 overlay package that we've been marketing here over the last couple of weeks. We're getting ready to launch our CD replacement package as well. But we've got a few of the different ideas up here. But that's one thing that we are committed to and have been committed to, is getting everybody information on the topics and areas of interest that consumers have, and giving you the tools to incorporate into the sales process or to market, all those types of things. And the neat thing about this is you can get access to all of this if you're a licensed agent with IAMS. You just have to be contracted with us, and then you're automatically in the queue to get all these things sent out to you. So I'd mentioned balance at the beginning of the presentation. I talked about 3 components of balance, which is having a defined goal, putting together a plan that you think will accomplish that goal, and then the third and most important is the ability to modify that plan. And what we found is it's tough for advisors to do that. I mean, all of you are entrepreneurs, you're small business owners. You're the CEO, the CMO, the CFO. Sometimes you feel like you're the janitor. It's tough to do that. And so what we developed a few years ago, and we've had immense success with it, is a marketing analysis process. In fact, I'm curious about this, so I'm going to launch our second poll. So launch this up here, and here's my question. Your current IMO, when it comes to marketing and your expectations, are they meeting and exceeding your goals? And the reason I say this is that, well, everybody wants to grow. Everybody has their own journey that they're going down. And what I commonly find when we do these marketing analysis when we implement this process and we put together a customized marketing plan through that, what we find is the current IMO hasn't even spent that level of detail with the advisor to try and figure out what they need to do to accomplish their objectives. And it seems very counterintuitive to me. And the reason that I say that is, it's not unique to us. We don't make any money unless you're making money. That's how every single IMO works. And so if you know that, if that's an undeniable truth, then why would you not invest more time, energy, effort, and resources into the advisor to help them develop their business and help them be as wildly successful as possible? And so I'm going to close this down here. But, my point on that is you have to have a plan. Just like when you meet with a prospect and they become a client. All of you, when somebody comes to you and says, I'm worried about outliving my income or retirement, you don't just make a recommendation to them. You do a needs analysis. You figure out what assets they have, what their goals are, and then you craft the right plan that you think is going to help them accomplish their goals. You need to do that same thing with your own business. If you want consistent growth, if you want continuity, if you want a consistent flow of prospects, consistent increases in revenue, it's something that you have to have. And so we talked about a lot of options today in the presentation. And I know a lot of you probably have questions on that. This is a great way to figure out what are the right options for you. So I'm going to go ahead and launch our final poll of the day. And if you want some more information on some of these programs, or as I mentioned, we have over 25 systems available. And so, we want to be respectful of everybody's time, and we only had so much time to present today. So we just highlighted a handful of them. We've got a lot of really good stuff out there, whether it's digital marketing, whether it's more traditional print, brick and mortar marketing, a lot of things available. Even like I go back to the preset appointment options. Those are all digitally generated preset appointments. We have additional options where when I talked about the multi-vertical approach, right? Maybe you want to do direct mail on it and hit that marketplace and generate preset appointments, and we can take care of everything for you. So there's a lot of different options out there. Tim, what anything else that you'd add to this as we wrap up?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question. I know you talked to it typically comes up when we do a marketing analysis, but can you explain path to purchase to those that are on here and how that might affect some of their marketing strategies?
I'm glad you mentioned that. In fact, don't know how we got this far into the presentation without even talking about it, but path to purchase. So this is a marketing concept that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, and that when I go through this, you inherently already knew, but I think people don't realize how big of a factor that is in your marketing. But as an example, let's say you were going to go buy a new car. You needed a new vehicle. Most of you probably wouldn't just make that decision and go down to the lot and see what's available. Before you did that, you probably would do some research. You probably figure out what type of vehicle you want. You do some research to kind of see what the pricing is out there, and then make a decision on what dealership you wanted to go down to, or if you were going to order the vehicle, or whatever it might be. That's referred to as path to purchase. It's the amount of time it takes from somebody thinking about doing something to the point in time that they actually do it. And it exists in any industry, whether you're buying a car, a house, a washer and dryer. And so I make that point because in the financial services space, on average, that path to purchase is 9 months. The more affluent the individual is, the more educated the individual is, the farther down that spectrum they are. And if we take a further step back and think about this, think about somebody that's retiring. Somebody doesn't just retire and then decide, well, gosh, what should I do with my 401k? I'm not sure. I better figure it out. They probably start that process early on, and because they want to make sure that they're making the right decision. Because that's the thing when it comes to retirement. There's not really a do-over. People don't want to go back to work once they've retired. And so I say all that to get to the point of the neat thing about digital marketing is that you get that entire market. And so you can create a significant pool of people that are on that spectrum and generate, if you're drip marketing and working it effectively, which we can work with you on how to do that, a consistent flow. And so it insulates you from the peaks and valleys in the business, right? We've all done marketing where it's worked really well. We've done marketing where it didn't work so well. You're always going to have peaks and valleys. But if you're cognizant of what the path to purchase is and you structure your marketing funnel around that, then you can accommodate if you have a down advertising run, which is inevitably going to happen if you're doing any level of marketing. And so what you'll find with that is that your highs get higher and your lows aren't as low, and there's more stability with what you're doing. You're more insulated from the others as opposed to the marketplace. But yeah, Tim, I appreciate you mentioning that. That's a really good point.
No, other than that, would love to work with anyone that has viewed this webinar, answer any questions, get a marketing analysis going for you. I think that with us over here at IAMS, the service and the amount of detail that we put into our agents' practice is definitely a differentiator. And I really appreciate the time today, Curtis. I don't see any other questions, so it looks like we're good to wrap up here.
All right, perfect. Well, I appreciate you having me on today, and I appreciate everybody being on the call with us.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.